What's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video that I've really been working my ass off on for weeks now. So I really hope you guys enjoy it, and more than just enjoying, I hope you guys learn something from it. Today we're going to be going over photography tips for hairstylists. I know a lot of you guys have told me that you've had trouble getting the perfect after shot when you're trying to get that great photo that just shows the amazing color, the amazing haircut that you did. So I've come up with 3 essentials that are going to help you guys get professional photos that will have new clients kicking your doors in to get appointments with you because they want that hair. I made a workbook to go along with the video. It is here. The Photography for Hairstylists workbook that you can download, print out, and fill out as we're going through the video. So if you guys haven't printed that out already, stop watching right now. Look in the description box below. There's going to be a link to get this workbook. All you have to do is send me your name, email, and I will send that to you immediately. So if you haven't already got that, go ahead and stop watching right now, get that downloaded, and resume the video when you have it. So if you guys do have your workbooks and your pens ready to go, let's go ahead and dive right in to the Photography for Hairstylists video. Nothing in the world gives me more anxiety than looking at an empty book. If I pull up my schedule for the week and I've got one haircut down, I'm going to freak out a little bit. I start thinking all these negative thoughts like, maybe my mom was right and I wasn't ready for a booth rent yet. Or like, why don't I have just a stupid office job where I can make guaranteed money and I don't have to freak out if no one's booked with me? Or my family and I are going to be homeless and maybe my cat's going to run away because he doesn't have walls to keep him inside anymore. And it gets a little bit dramatic, but seriously, my mind goes there. But luckily, I don't have to freak out anymore because I found the easiest way to bring in new clients. It takes such little effort. All you have to do is post amazing quality photos and people will be reaching out to you because they'll see the amazing work that you do. They see that you are taking the time to really document that and put it out there, and clients will come to you with basically no extra effort on your end. Once I figured out the 3 essentials to getting the perfect after photo, my income soared by an additional $400 a week. I posted one photo of a hair color that I did, and I had 2 clients reach out to me wanting that same hair color. So I was able to book those 2 clients within a week. Both services were over $200, and I gained $400 just by taking one good shot of a client. I was reading some recent reports, and Instagram just went over 1 billion users a month. Facebook has been over 2 billion users a month. So if you guys aren't using this advantage of just the free exposure that you can put your work out there and gain clients from, you're really missing out. This is the easiest way to get more money in your pocket, more clients in your chair. All you have to do is learn how to take the best after shots of your photos. So why is it so important to make sure the quality of your photos are good? Well, whether we like it or not, people are judging us based on the first 3 seconds that they look at one of our photos. So if you have a bad quality photo, a potential client is going to think that you probably don't care that much about your work. It's going to look sloppy, not professional. They're going to think that you just took that photo as an afterthought and it wasn't really something that you put a lot of your heart and mind into. On the flip side, if you take a good quality photo and you post that, people are going to think, wow, look at this stylist. She obviously really cares about her clients. She cares about her work, and it shows because she wanted to document this and take an amazing shot of the work that she's done. It shows that you're proud of what you created, and I think new clients can really see that just by looking at a photo. I always understood that taking pictures and posting them online was important for your business as a hairstylist, but it really has taken me years to figure out what goes into getting that perfect after shot. If you don't believe me, just scroll through my Instagram, go all the way to the bottom. You'll see the first hair pics I started taking. They're terrible. Like, do not judge me on those. The hair was good, the photos were horrible, and it definitely showed. It affected the way the entire color or style looks just because the photo was so crappy. But now, thankfully, I have done a ton of research. I know what goes into getting a good professional after shot, and I want to share that with you guys today. So if you guys are ready, break out your workbooks, break out your favorite pen, and let's dive into the 3 essentials that will give you professional photos that will have clients begging you to fit them in. We're going to go over the 3 things that you have to get right to show off your photos so clients will notice. Even if you guys choose to implement only one of these 3 essentials, your photos are still definitely going to improve. But if you put them all together, you are going to get the photos that your clients are bringing you from Instagram and Pinterest that are just amazing. And that's what I want for you guys, is to have these amazing shots you can really be proud of. Also, these work for whatever device you're choosing to shoot on. I use a DSLR. I have a Canon Rebel that I'll link below if you guys are interested in getting a real camera. But I know a ton of great stylists that only are using their phones to shoot, and I think that works awesome as well. These tips will work for cameras or phones or whatever else you're choosing to shoot on. The 3 essentials that you have to have professional quality photos are: number 1, background; number 2, lighting; and number 3, posing. Let's go ahead and start with background. The ideal background for the perfect after photo is clean and not distracting. I'm going to show you a photo of a client where I didn't take the background into consideration. So in this photo, even using portrait mode where the background is blurred doesn't help. There's so many other things and people that draw your focus away from the client's hair. There are colors that clash with the tones of the blonde. The photo looks messy, unorganized, and like it was taken as an afterthought. Now I'll show you a client photo with the ideal background. In this photo, you know what you're supposed to be looking at. The background is calm and not distracting. Even with the texture of the brick and the light, it's not enough to take your focus off of the client's hair. There's no one else in the shot, and it looks like the photographer took their time and cared about what the image would look like. When you're choosing the background that you want to have behind your shot, there are 3 things that you need to look out for. Here are the 3 tips to getting the perfect background. Tip number 1, neutral backgrounds are the best for emphasizing your client. Having a neutral background guarantees that there are no colors in the back of the shot that are going to clash with the tones in your client's hair. Lots of stylists order backdrops off of Amazon that just pop up. They're reversible, so they're white on one side, black on the other, so they're really versatile depending on what you're trying to shoot, and you can carry them with you anywhere. So I'll post a link below if you guys are interested in looking for something like that makes it really easy just to have a backdrop no matter where you are. But another good idea is finding a wall in your salon that's just a clean, solid colored background. Also, you can go outside and normally find like a good white brick background, which is personally what I like to shoot in front of. Tip number 2, fill the frame with your subject. Your background is very important in getting a professional quality shot, but it does need to be in the background. You don't want to see too much of it coming in, filling too much of your shot where your client's just like a tiny head in the middle of it. You want the client's hair to really stand out. Having your subject fill the frame automatically lets the viewer of the photo know exactly what they're supposed to be looking at. So if they pull up your image, they won't say, oh, look at the pretty trees in the background, or look at that car over there, or whatever. You want them to see a photo full of gorgeous hair so they look at it and say, oh my gosh, this is amazing, I love this hair, and they aren't distracted by anything else. The last tip that I want to share for you guys when choosing a background is have a go-to background to make setup quick and easy. I take all of my clients to the same spot in the salon almost every time that I'm ready to take an after shot. This way I'm not dragging my client all over the place, inside, outside, trying to figure out where is a good spot to make their hair look nice and where there's not anything busy going on. I know where to go, and it's super easy and convenient that way. I know exactly where the client needs to stand, and it's in a spot in the salon that isn't busy where we aren't going to be getting interrupted by people trying to walk through the back of the shop the entire time. It just works every time if you have a go-to background. Alright guys, so I hope that explains why backgrounds are so important to get the best after photos that you possibly can. If you guys have any questions about backgrounds, go ahead and leave a comment below, and I will be super stoked to elaborate further on it. But let's go ahead and move on to our next page. So our next essential is going to be lighting. Good lighting gives you the best texture, vibrancy of color, and luminosity on your subject. Let's go back to our photos again and check out this one of my clients. It's an after photo, but it has poor lighting. Notice how the light is directly overhead. It makes the top of her head appear very bright and harsh, while the bottom is so dark it looks blurry because my camera is struggling to focus on it. It almost looks like two completely different hair colors, just because the lighting was off in the shot. Now let's look at the ideal lighting shot. The lighting here is big, beautiful, and soft. It isn't just hitting one spot of the hair, but illuminating all of it. You can see how even the tones are. The good lighting isn't casting any harsh lines or weird shadows on our subject. So here's how you can guarantee that you will get the best lighting every time. Tip number 1, have the light in front of your subject but behind the camera. So if the light source is coming behind your subject, the light is going to be shining directly into the camera and your whole subject's face is going to be completely dark and in shadow. Also, if you have light going directly into the camera like that, your camera or your phone or whatever you're shooting on is going to try to adjust and compensate for that brightness hitting right into the lens, and it will try to adjust by brightening parts of the photo or dimming other spots or even adjusting the colors. So it's super, super important to make sure that the light is coming from behind or either right beside the camera to avoid any light going directly into the lens for your hair photos. Also, as we saw from the poor lighting photo, if you have light coming from anywhere other than directly in front of your subject, like if you have it coming down from overhead, or even if you have it coming from the side or below for whatever reason, it's going to cause a lot of weird harsh lines and shadows on your subject that you definitely do not want when you're trying to get a good shot of hair. It's going to make tones look different, it's going to make some parts look really harsh and other parts look really dim. The best lighting you can possibly get for getting a hair shot is going to be just a full soft light shining in front of your subject. If the lighting is not ideal in your salon, you can gain more control by using a ring light or a softbox. I personally have used a ring light and I will link one in the description box below, so if you guys want to check one out. It just makes it really convenient if you're trying to get an after shot at night or something and you don't have good natural light coming in, or if your salon lights are all just really harsh or placed in spots that are not ideal for getting a good after shot. It gives you a ton of control because you can move it around wherever you need it, and it also gives you a really pretty, big, and dispersed light that you can put right in front of your client, and it will make your shots come out great basically every time. So moving into tip number 2, you want your light source to be diffused and even. So this kind of goes back to the harsh lighting that we saw in our bad lighting photo. You don't want any harsh lights. You don't want one light shining directly on one spot of your client. You want the light to be like big and open so it illuminates the entire subject and not just one spot. Again, using a light that's too direct like that will result in harsh lines and weird shadows and will not do your color or cut or whatever you're trying to photograph justice. But if you use a light that shines all the way across your client, it will result in a shot that's so clean and well lit and beautiful. Okay, so moving into tip number 3 for your lighting page. Cool and neutral toned lights will stay truer to color than warm lights will. This means if the light source for your photo is a warm light, it will distort the images and bring out warmer tones. So if you have a warm light shining on your client, you're going to see more of the orange and yellow and warmth coming through in your photo, which a lot of times is not ideal when you're capturing an image of hair. But if you're using a cool toned light or a neutral toned light, it will keep the colors true to what is actually on your client's hair and look more appealing in your final shot. You can test if you're using a cool or warm toned light by taking a photo of just where you're going to be taking your photos at without a person in it. So take a photo of where you're going to be taking your pictures, just of your backdrop with no clients in it or anything. Check out that image. If your image is looking blue, chances are you're using a cool toned light. If your image looks orange or yellow, you most likely have a warm light shining into your background. If you don't see any orange tones or blue tones, you're in luck because that means you have a neutral light, which is really ideal for getting the perfect after shot. Some examples I found reading a photography blog mentioned that ring lights are 90% of the time going to be a cool light. And if you're doing photos outside, the sunlight at midday, so around like 12 o'clock sunlight, is going to give you a neutral light most of the time. That's all I have for you guys on lighting. If you have any questions or need me to explain anything a little bit more in detail, go ahead and leave a comment below for that, and I will be glad to go over more of it for you. But let's go ahead and move right along into probably what's my favorite part of getting the perfect after shot: posing. So posing is always really fun. It just reminds me of, like, you know, having fun with your friends and doing these cute little photo shoots. You get to have like a really personal experience with your client getting these after shots. Clients are always stoked. I know sometimes us as stylists feel like it's awkward to take after pictures of your clients, but I totally disagree. I think clients really do love getting in front of the camera, and it kind of lets them know that you really are in love with the hair color that you've created for them too. It shows when you are dying to take a picture of it, and I think clients really enjoy it. So anyway, enough blabbering. With posing, you always want to ask yourself, what is it that I am trying to draw attention to? So let's go ahead and check out our photos again. In the incorrect posing photo, your attention is not on the hair. You can barely see her hair at all. She looks a little unnatural also. This isn't how anyone would really stand, and it makes for a cringy picture. Having obviously happy clients is definitely okay, as long as the viewer's main focus is able to stay on the hair. Now back to our good photo. The first thing you see is the hair. Our client is posed in such a way that it accentuates the angle in her haircut, and you're able to see a bit of the depth in her root. She looks natural and comfortable. This photo shows every part of the hair we wanted to draw attention to. Tip number 1 for how to get the best posing for your clients. Pose your clients to show the best aspects of their hair. In our demo photo, we wanted to show off the angle of our client's haircut and the depth in her root. So we adjusted her head by having her look to the side and down a bit, so you could really see the angle going from the back of her head to her collarbone and see some of the depth in her root. For example, if you had done a client that you did a shadow root on that you really wanted to show off, a good pose for her would be to look down, something like this, where you see a lot of the root at the top, and you also have the hair framing her face. So it's still really soft and natural, but it's going to show the part of the hair that you're trying to show off, in this case, which would be the shadow root. Or another example, if you just did an awesome balayage that you're loving the blend on, one of my favorite go-to poses for balayages is having a shot of the client's hair from behind with their hands kind of fanning out their hair. That way you can really see all the blends coming together to really show off and accentuate the balayage that you've done. Tip number 2, show your clients examples of the poses you're going for. Most of your clients are not going to be professional models, so it can be a little awkward and intimidating for them to get in front of your big fancy camera and knock out some cool poses. What I found really helps is to whip out my phone, pull up Instagram, and show them this is the pose that I want to recreate with you today. So if it's a pose where you want your client to have her hand up in her hair, show her a photo that looks kind of like that so she really understands the after effect that you're going for. I also like to demonstrate it myself for my clients too, and that really helps them understand exactly where they need to put their hands to have their hair fluff out the right way. They can see you actually demonstrating it, and having you do it too makes them feel not quite as awkward too. Like, the posing, I think, is really fun, and it should be a fun experience, not one that your clients dread at the end, you know? So just don't be afraid to get in there and really let them know this is what we're going for. Super easy, just do this with your hands. The final tip that I have for you guys to help with your posing is make sure you capture some of your clients' faces in your shot to help boost engagement on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram reported that pictures with human faces get 38% more likes and 32% more comments. Now I know it's not a big deal how many likes you get on Facebook and blah blah blah, but We all do like to get likes on Instagram and Facebook, whatever social media we're using. And it's nice because the more interactions and the more engagement you get on social media, the more likely that algorithm is to boost you. So the more interactions and engagement you're getting, the more you are going to be seen by other people. But that's honestly a topic for a whole nother video. Let me not branch off too much here. But if you are wanting more engagement, more likes and comments on the photos that you're posting on social media, get some human faces in there. People like to see other people. They don't just want to see back of the head, side of the head, hair, mug shots all the time. So if you get some smiling, happy clients in there, that will definitely help improve the engagement that you are seeing when you post on your favorite social media account. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and learning my tricks of the trade about photography for hairstylists. Let's do a quick recap, and I will actually just go ahead and read down our workbook. So if you guys missed anything, go ahead and be ready to fill that out now. So, photography for hairstylists, the 3 essentials to getting the perfect after photo. Number 1 was background, 2 was lighting, and 3 was posing. These 3 elements come together in such a way that they will bring you the most Pinterest-worthy hair pictures you've ever taken in your life. Moving on to page 3, where we covered backgrounds. The ideal background is clean and not distracting. This just means you don't want to have a lot of stuff going on in the background. You want the main focus to be on the client and their hair. Tip number 1 was neutral backgrounds are best for emphasizing your clients. You don't want to have any colors that are clashing with the client's hair color or what they're wearing or anything. Stick with white, black, or gray and you can't go wrong. Tip number 2, fill the frame with your subject. You don't want to see a ton of the background coming in. You want the viewer's attention to focus immediately on the hair and know where they are supposed to be looking. Tip number 3 is have a go-to background where you know you can get good photos. So instead of having to drag your clients around trying to find a good spot to take their picture that day, just know where you're going to take them. Know a spot where the background is good and clean and will really make the most of your hair. Okay, in the next page we went over lighting. Good lighting gives you the best texture, vibrancy of color, and luminosity on your subject. So lighting is probably the most important out of all of these. Like I said, they do all come together great, but if there's anything I want you guys to definitely remember and hang on to is that lighting is so key. Please get your lighting right in your photos. Tip number 1 was have light in front of your subject, but behind your camera. We talked about that this is important because if the light is going into your camera's lens, your camera is going to try to adjust either by brightening, dimming, or adjusting the color in the photo. You definitely don't want that. You also don't want your subject to be completely in shadow, so make sure that the light is in front of your subject so they're pretty and illuminated, but behind the camera so it's not affecting the way your lens is perceiving that light. Tip number 2 is your light source should be diffused and even. This will prevent any harsh lines or weird shadows like we saw in the poor lighting photo. Tip number 3, cool and neutral toned lights. Stay truer to color than warm lights. In hair, you never normally want to see any warm, yellow, orangey tones, and cool and neutral toned lights will show the way your client actually looks to your eye. Again, ring lights are normally cool toned, and the sun at midday is a neutral tone. So remember that and you'll be great. The third essential we talked about was posing, which was my favorite. It can be a lot of fun. And when you're trying to pose your client, you always want to ask yourself, what in their hair am I trying to draw attention to? What am I drawing attention to in this photo? So tip number 1 was pose your clients to show the best aspects of their hair. If it's a shadow root, have them look down so they can see the root. If it's an A-line haircut, have them look to the side where you can see the angle of the haircut. Think about what you want to show off in the photo and make sure you're posing your clients accordingly. Tip number 2, show your clients examples of the pose you are going for. Our clients are not professional models, guys. We think they look great, but they're really not used to being in front of a camera. So show them a picture on your phone. This is what I want to recreate. Demonstrate it yourself, and that will help your client feel so much more comfortable and so much more at ease in front of your camera. Tip number 3, make sure you capture some of your clients' faces in your shots to help boost engagement if that's what you're looking for on Instagram and Facebook. I think engagement definitely helps. The algorithm will boost you more if they see you interacting more, so engagement is good if you're trying to bring in new clients. And people tend to respond better by 38% more on likes, 32% more on comments if they see a human face in the shot. So having some photos with your clients' faces in will definitely help you boost the engagement. Alright guys, well thank you so much for checking out this video. I've really worked my ass off on it, like I said, so I really hope you learned something from it. If you guys have any more questions about backgrounds, lighting, posing, or anything else to do with hair photography, please leave me a comment below because I would be more than happy to elaborate for you. If you guys have any suggestions or things that you're struggling with that you would like me to do a video on, go ahead and let me know below also, because I'm always looking for new ideas and new stuff that I can help you guys out with. If you haven't already, go check out my Facebook group called 6 Figure Stylists. I'll link that below also, but that is where I got the idea for this video, and we just constantly share great business building ideas for stylists, and I know I would love to have you there. So thank you guys again, and I will see you in the next video. Show the angle and get a little bit of some examples that I found to reading this photography. I personally have used a ring light, and I will link one in the description below to illuminate them all really bright evenly. To illuminate them all really even. Some examples I found reading of photography